Inspirational reading today comes from 365 Days of Richer Living, and this is a daily inspirations by Ernest Holmes and Raymond Charles Barker. So for the 31st of October, we have, I am not fooled by evil. I recognize it only to destroy it. Ooh, yes.
What?
For the evil doer shall be cut off, shall be cut off, but those who wait upon the Lord, they shall inherit the earth. The sole value of evil is that it shows us a point of attack. The metaphysical attacks evil at the point of origin, which is a consciousness of the one experiencing it. We do not avoid it. We accept it as evidence, for then we know how to treat. Aha, so there you go. If we are unaware of it, we cannot erase it. We know that God is omnipotent, and that evil has no power to confuse us except we believe it has. It can be destroyed through scientific prayer. We have perceived its presence within us. Each attempt of error to manifest is a call to prayer. The battle cry of treatment is the opportunity to prove that God is all, and nothing can stop us when we are thinking in godly terms. We then make specific denials and affirmations regarding its unique form, and soon it will be eliminated from our experience. This is the better way. So we can say to ourselves, I believe that God is all there really is, and that each attempt of evil to manifest in my world today is merely a call to prayer. I deny all evil and affirm all good. Error is a lie, and there is no truth in it. It has no basis, no plan, and no consistency. God alone is true, perfect, and complete. I now destroy all negative thinking from my consciousness through this word of truth. I live in a world of good, and all is well. God is where I am in every instance of this day, and I know this and rejoice in this. The peace of God is upon me. The love of God surrounds me. The joy of the Lord wells up in me. I live and move and have my being in perfect mind and in perfect presence, and all else is nothing. So we say, thank you, wonderful God. Thank you, Ernie. And thank you, Charlie. And Raymond. So, our speaker today, wow. Yeah, our speaker today. She is a delightful person. I knew her when she was a baby metaphysician. When she first came to TIC, all wide-eyed and teary-eyed and not knowing what she wanted to do, but she did it. She met her inner Christ, and everything else is history because she blossomed. And she continues to blossom. I wouldn't say she's a blooming idiot, but she's blossoming. She's blossoming. And she has wonderful things to talk to us about. Face your F.E.A.R. Fear. Fear. And I know she's going to have some wonderful things to say about that. Please help me welcome leader, teacher, inner Christ counselor, Jennifer Allen-Prather. Thank you, Jennifer.
It was perfect.
It
Thank
was
you.
perfect. Well, you're perfect spiritual environment.
I thought, who's that? What a joy. What a joy to look out on these beautiful people in their alter egos for Halloween. Well, it is my great joy and pleasure to be here today to speak on, let me get my materials out first. Face your F.E.A.R. Fear. Face your fear. How many of us like to be frightened? On a roller coaster, maybe?
No.
By a movie?
No.
Some people do. And there are different kinds of fear, aren't there?
Yep.
Different levels. What frightens you? Just say that to yourself. What frightens you? How many people have been frightened by a scary movie? Yeah. I can remember when I was about 4 or 5 years old, when we lived in Los Angeles. I was an only child living with my parents in a house that my grandfather had built in the 1920s, and it had a long hallway, and I could see from my bedroom in the very back of the hallway to the living room where our TV was. And my parents had told me to go to bed because there was going to be a scary movie on. And it was Dr. Jekyll and Mr Hyde. This one, I believe, was the best version of it. It was with Spencer Tracy.
Oh my gosh.
And he played the benevolent Dr. Jekyll, who wanted to help mankind by finding out where evil was within each person. And so he experimented with certain potions that brought out the evil within him. And he was pretty scary, and so I was watching this from my little room in the back of the house, and all of a sudden I saw Dr. Jekyll turning into this monster, and it scared the living daylights out of me. You know, in those days they didn't have computer generated images. They had time stop filming, so they would take a frame at a time to transform someone into something else. And of course, I had nightmares for a long time after seeing that. And but later on, of course, I realized as I got older that it was just a movie. Just a movie. So how many people have been frightened when, I don't know, somebody pulled a prank on them? Maybe they said something like, I ate all the Halloween candy. And your heart sunk. Now that's kind of a frivolous little fear, but you know, it's a fear.
Yeah, definitely.
And something a little more serious, a lot more serious, seemingly. How many people have been frightened by their 401k or their checking account or their stocks going down?
Yeah.
Right. How about if somebody's been given a diagnosis that they didn't like? That can be scary. So there are many types of fears. Some seem just temporary and frivolous, and then others feel very serious. But my question to you is, are they all coming from the same place? Are they all the same type of fears, even though we categorize them? The reason for the questions I'm asking about these is to point out that all of these scenarios are fear-based, and they're all illusions. Every single one. The 401k, the movie, the diagnosis, they're all illusions. Fake news. They're false evidence appearing real. And we've all heard this before, and if you haven't, it's a good thing to remember. FEAR, the acronym. I can remember one time when I was married to my first husband, David, and we went on a trip. We decided to go on a trip on Memorial Day weekend on a Friday night. We drove up the coast thinking, well, we'll find a place to stay. Not. And we drove on and on and on, and we were getting pretty tired, and there was no place at the inn. And fortunately, we had a little tent with us and some camping materials. So we got to this place in the dark about 11 o'clock at night. And it was in Lompoc. I think that's Central California. And it was, we could hear the ocean. It was kind of near the ocean. So we decided to set up camp with our flashlights. We couldn't see very much, but we put our stakes down in this area. And about midnight, this huge beam of light shone into our tent, woke us both up with a start. And you can imagine when you're sound asleep, we were exhausted. You're sound asleep and you're awakened by this huge light and this huge roar that shook the ground. And I thought we were going to die. I thought, this is it. We're camping and we're going to die. And then this huge roar went, doo, and I knew it was a train, but I didn't know how close it was. And it went by us, and it turned out that in the morning, we woke up. We were about 10 feet away from a train track, which was elevated. So the beam of the light came right down on us. But it was elevated 10 feet away. You can imagine how loud and how, it just shook the ground. Talk about heart-pounding bathroom moments.
Clean that up.
That is a urgent fear, would you say?
Yeah. Clean that up.
Yeah, clean that up.
Yeah.
That's an urgent fear. Again, an illusion. Fake news. So what my senses were saying to my mind, my senses were saying, get out of there. Danger, danger. And that kind of fear is good for a lot of things, isn't it? It helps us to get out of the way of danger. But it still was an illusion. What does fear do to us? What do you think it does to you? Does it rob you of your peace? Does it keep you from doing things that other people are doing that you would like to do but you're afraid to do? It can create a barrier to our good, can't it? We've been studying a prosperity class from a book called A Happy Pocket Full of Money. And it's just full of wisdom. It's not just about money. And it's by David Cameron Gikandi. He talks about fear on pages 210 to 211. And I thought it was important to read this because I think it's very insightful. Fear is the world of ego, he says. So are emotions and non-detachment. These things inhibit instantaneous manifestation of your choices, even if you know what spirit is choosing. And fear is false evidence appearing real. Emotions are past conditioning. They are reactions instead of creation. And life is about creation. Non-detachment rises out of fear, out of illusion, there's that word again, that loss and failure are actual. Learn to be aware, intuitive, go within, detached, and creative instead of reactive. Start seeing fear as false evidence appearing real, and you will start to experience more and more of your choices the instant you make them, or very soon after you make them. Learn to trust your intuition or your inner Christ. He says, even death, the thing that people fear the most, is senseless to fear. Think about it. If the spirit is done with its body, what can the body possibly do to prevent the spirit from leaving and taking away life? Nothing. If your spirit chooses to move on, that is it. It cannot be trapped. People who know death cease to fear it, as you may have heard. That's sometimes the ultimate fear for most people. How can we face our fear, our false evidence appearing real, and dissolve it as an illusion, know it as an illusion, such as looking at our bank account and seeing it drop, or the fear of loss of something or someone? Well, we can acknowledge that it is an illusion. We can give thanks for the truth, the real truth with a capital T. We can call upon our inner Christ to heal the appearance and guide us to inner peace and faith. We can do that by praying all the way, by meditating, and using our tools that we have here at the Teaching of the Inner Christ. Those are two of them. We can have one of our prayer therapists help out if that is needed. We can have an inner Christ counseling if we have questions, if that is needed. It's a type of counseling that we do here that allows spirit to come through each person who needs it. Those are some of the things that we can do to help dissolve the illusion of fear. And I found a little acronym for myself, or I channeled it, and I've rebranded FEAR, the acronym. I say that the F equals faith forever. The E is the eternal elixir of existence. That's a good E. It's a lot of E's. The A, acceptance always of the truth. And the R, for reality or realization of the truth. I have a quote that, I love quotes. I have an email that sends me quotes all the time. And some I just fall in love with. And this is by a lady by Allen-Prather. She is a 20th century British author. And she said, all the ill that is in us comes from fear, and all the good from love. I thank you for your attention today. Nothing to fear here.
Awesome. Thank you, dear. Oh, that was wonderful.